Shalom, and welcome back to the Cepher Daily Readings. Thank you so much for stopping by to follow along. I am Trish. All praise and glory to the Most High Yah in the name of the Son, Yahusha, Yahawashai, HaMashiach. I pray this is a blessing to you, and may this glorify our Father, the Creator, the Almighty. We are in Jubilees, Yovheliym, chapter 46. And it came to pass that after Yaakov died, the children of Yasharel multiplied in the land of Mitzrayim, and they became a great nation. And they were of one accord in heart, so that brother loved brother, and every man helped his brother. And they increased abundantly and multiplied exceedingly, 10 weeks of years, all the days of the life of Yosef. And there was no Satan nor any evil all the days of the life of Yosef, which he lived after his father Yaakov. For all the Mitzrayim honored the children of Yasharel all the days of the life of Yosef. And Yosef died being 110 years old. 17 years he lived in the land of Canaan, and 10 years he was a servant, and 3 years in prison, and 80 years he was under the king, ruling all the land of Mitzrayim. And he died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And he commanded the children of Yasharel before he died, that they should carry his bones with them when they went forth from the land of Mitzrayim. And he made them swear regarding his bones, for he knew that the Mitzrayim would not again bring forth and bury him in the land of Canaan. For Macamaron, king of Canaan, while dwelling in the land of Ashur, fought in the valley with the king of Mitzrayim, and slew him there, and pursued after the Mitzrayim to the gates of Erman. But he was not able to enter, for another, a new king, had become king of Mitzrayim, and he was stronger than he. And he returned to the land of Canaan, and the gates of Mitzrayim were closed. And none went out, and none came into Mitzrayim. And Yosef died in the 46th Jubilee in the 6th week, in the 2nd year, and they buried him in the land of Mitzrayim. And all his brethren died after him. And the king of Mitzrayim went forth to war with the king of Canaan in the 47th Jubilee, in the 2nd week, in the 2nd year. And the children of Yasharel brought forth all the bones of the children of Yaakov, save the bones of Yosef. And they buried them in the field in the double cave in the mountain. And most of them returned to Mitzrayim, but a few of them remained in the mountains of Hebron. And Amram, your father, remained with them. And the king of Canaan was victorious over the king of Mitzrayim. And he closed the gates of Mitzrayim. And he devised an evil device against the children of Yasharel, of afflicting them, and he said unto the people of Mitzrayim, Behold, the people of the children of Yasharel have increased and multiplied more than we. Come, and let us deal wisely with them before they become too many, and let us afflict them with bondage before war come upon us, and before they too fight against us. Else they will join themselves unto our enemies, and get them up out of our land. For their hearts and faces are towards the land of Canaan. And he set over them taskmasters to afflict them with bondage. And they built strong cities for Pharaoh, Pithom and Ramses. And they built all the walls and all the fortifications which had fallen in the cities of Mitzrayim. And they made them serve with rigor. And the more they dealt evilly with them, the more they increased and multiplied, and the people of Mitzrayim abominated the children of Yasharel. Chapter 47. And in the 7th week, in the 7th year, in the 47th Jubilee, your father went forth from the land of Canaan, and you were born in the 4th week, in the 6th year thereof, in the 48th Jubilee. This was the time of tribulation on the children of Yasharel. And Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, issued a command regarding them, that they should cast all their male children which were born into the river. And they cast them in for 7 months, until the day that you were born. And your mother hid you for 3 months. And they told regarding her. And she made an ark for you, and covered it with pitch and asphalt, and placed it in the reeds on the bank of the river. And she placed you in it 7 days, and your mother came by night and suckled you, and by day Miriam, your sister, guarded you from the birds. And in those days Tarmuth, the daughter of Pharaoh, came to bathe in the river, and she heard your voice crying, and she told her maidens to bring you forth, and they brought you unto her. And she took you out of the ark, and she had compassion for you. And your sister said unto her, Shall I go and call unto you one of the Evrith women to nurse and suckle this babe for you? And she said unto her, Go. And she went and called your mother, Jochebed, and she gave her wages, and she nursed you. And afterwards, when you were grown up, they brought you unto the daughter of Pharaoh, and you did become her son. And Amram, your father, taught you writing, and after you had completed 3 weeks, they brought you into the royal court. And you were there 3 weeks of years at court until the time when you did go forth from the royal court, and did see a Mitzri smiting your friend, who was of the children of Yasharel. And you did slay him, and hide him in the sand. And on the 2nd day, you did, and 2 of the children of Yasharel striving together, and you did slay to him who was doing the wrong. Why do you smite your brother? And he was angry and indignant, and said, Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Think you to kill me as you killed the Mitzri yesterday? And you did fear and flee on account of these words. Chapter 48. And in the 6th year of the 3rd week of the 49th Jubilee, you did depart and dwell in the land of Midian, 5 weeks and 1 year. And you did return to Mitzrayim in the 2nd week, in the 2nd year, in the 50th Jubilee. And you yourself know what he spoke unto you on Mount Sinai, and what Prince Mastema desired to do with you when you were returning into Mitzrayim. Did he not with all his power seek to slay you, and deliver the Mitzrayim out of your hand, when he saw that you were sent to execute judgment and vengeance on the Mitzrayim? And I delivered you out of his hand, and you did perform the signs and wonders which you were sent to perform in Mitzrayim against Pharaoh, and against all his house, and against his servants and his people. And Yahuwah executed a great vengeance on them for Yasharel's sake, and smote them through the plagues of blood and frogs, lice and dog flies, and malignant boils breaking forth in blains, and their cattle by death and by hailstones. Thereby he destroyed everything that grew for them, and by locusts, which devoured the remnant which had been left by the hail, and by darkness, and by the death of the firstborn of men and animals. And on all their idols Yahuwah took vengeance and burned them with fire. And everything was sent through your hand, that you should declare these things before they were done. And you did speak with the king of Mitzrayim before all his servants and before his people. And everything took place according to your words. 10 great and terrible judgments came on the land of Mitzrayim, that you might execute vengeance on it for Yasharel. And Yahuwah did everything for Yasharel's sake, and according to his covenant, which he had ordained with Abraham, that he would take vengeance on them as they had brought them by force into bondage. And the prince Mastema stood up against you, and sought to cast you into the hands of Pharaoh. And he helped the Mitzri sorcerers. And they stood up and wrought before you the evils indeed we permitted them to work, but the remedies we did not allow to be wrought by their hands. And Yahuwah smote them with malignant ulcers, and they were not able to stand, for we destroyed them so that they could not perform a single sign. And notwithstanding all these signs and wonders, the prince Mastema was not put to shame, because he took courage and cried to the Mitzrayim to pursue after you with all the powers of the Mitzrayim, with their chariots, and with their horses, and with all the hosts of the peoples of Mitzrayim. And I stood between the Mitzrayim and Yasharel, and we delivered Yasharel out of his hand, and out of the hand of his people. And Yahuwah brought them through the midst of the sea as if it were dry land. And all the peoples whom he brought to pursue after Yasharel, Yahuwah Elohinu cast them into the midst of the sea, into the depths of the abyss beneath the children of Yasharel, even as the people of Mitzrayim had cast their children into the river. He took vengeance on 1,000,000 of them, and 1,000 strong and energetic men were destroyed on account of one suckling of the children of your people, which they had thrown into the river. And on the 14th day, and on the 15th, and on the 16th, and on the 17th, and on the 18th, the prince Mastema was bound and imprisoned behind the children of Yasharel, that he might not accuse them. And on the 19th, we let them loose, that they might help the Mitzrayim and pursue the children of Yasharel. And he hardened their hearts and made them stubborn. And the device was devised by Yahuwah Elohinu, that he might smite the Mitzrayim and cast them into the sea. And on the 14th, we bound him that he might not accuse the children of Yasharel on the day when they asked the Mitzrayim for vessels and garments, vessels of silver and vessels of gold and vessels of bronze, in order to despoil the Mitzrayim in return for the bondage in which they had forced them to serve. And we did not lead forth the children of Yasharel from Mitzrayim empty-handed. Chapter 49. Remember the commandment which Yahuwah commanded you concerning the Pesach, that you should celebrate it in its season on the 14th of the first month, that you should kill it before it is evening, and that they should eat it by night on the evening of the 15th from the time of the setting of the sun. For on this night, the beginning of the feast and the beginning of the joy, you were eating the Pesach in Mitzrayim, when all the powers of Mastema had been let loose to slay all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn of Pharaoh to the firstborn of the captive maidservant in the mill, and to the cattle. And this is the sign which Yahuwah gave them. Into every house on the lintels of which they saw the blood of a lamb for the first year, into that house they should not enter to slay, but should pass by it, that all those should be saved that were in the house, because the sign of the blood was on its lintels. And the powers of Yahuwah did everything according as Yahuwah commanded them, and they passed by all the children of Yasharel, and the plague came not upon them to destroy from amongst them any soul, either of cattle or man or dog. And the plague was very grievous in Mitzrayim, and there was no house in Mitzrayim where there was not one dead, and weeping, and lamentation. And all Yasharel was eating the flesh of the Pesach lamb, and drinking the wine, and was lauding, and blessing, and giving thanks to Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers, and was ready to go forth from under the yoke of Mitzrayim, and from the evil bondage. And remember you this day all the days of your life, and observe it from year to year, all the days of your life, once a year, on its day, according to all the Torah thereof. And do not adjourn it from day to day, or from month to month, for it is an eternal ordinance and engraved on the heavenly tablets regarding all the children of Yasharel, that they should observe it every year on its day, once a year, throughout all their generations. And there is no limit of days, for this is ordained forever. And the man who is free from uncleanness and does not come to observe it on occasion of its day, so as to bring an acceptable offering before Yahuwah, and to eat and to drink before Yahuwah on the day of its feast, that man who is clean and clothes at hand shall be cut off, because he offered not the oblation of Yahuwah in its appointed season. He shall take the guilt upon himself. Let the children of Yasharel come and observe the feast of Pesach on the day of its fixed time, on the 14th day of the first month, between the evenings, from the third part of the day to the third part of the night. For 2 portions of the day are given to the light, and a third part to the evening. This is that which Yahuwah commanded you, that you should observe it between the evenings. And it is not permissible to slay it during any period of the light, but during the period bordering on the evening, and let them eat it at the time of the evening, until the third part of the night. And whatsoever is left over of all its flesh from the third part of the night, and onwards, let them burn it with fire. And they shall not cook it with water, nor shall they eat it raw, but roast on the fire. They shall eat it with diligence, its head with the inwards thereof, and its feet they shall roast with fire, and not break any bone thereof. For of the children of Yasharel no bone shall be crushed. For this reason Yahuwah commanded the children of Yasharel to observe the Pesach on the day of its fixed time, and they shall not break a bone thereof, for it is a feast day, and a day commanded, and there may be no passing over from day to day, and month to month, but on the day of its feast let it be observed. And do you command the children of Yasharel to observe the Pesach throughout their days, every year, once a year on the day of its fixed time. And it shall come for a memorial well-pleasing before Yahuwah. And no plague shall come upon them to slay or to smite in that year in which they celebrate the Pesach, in its season, in every respect, according to his command. And they shall not eat outside the sanctuary of Yahuwah, but before the sanctuary of Yahuwah. And all the people of the assembly of Yasharel shall celebrate it in its appointed season, and every man who has come upon its day shall eat it in the sanctuary of your Elohim before Yahuwah, from 20 years old and upward. For thus is it written and ordained that they should eat it in the sanctuary of Yahuwah. And when the children of Yasharel come into the land which they are to possess, into the land of Canaan, and set up the tabernacle of Yahuwah in the midst of the land in one of their tribes, until the sanctuary of Yahuwah has been built in the land, let them come and celebrate the Pesach in the midst of the tabernacle of Yahuwah. And let them slay it before Yahuwah from year to year. And in the days when the house has been built in the name of Yahuwah, in the land of their inheritance, they shall go there and slay the Pesach in the evening, at sunset, at the third part of the day. And they shall offer its blood on the threshold of the altar, and shall place its fat on the fire, which is upon the altar. And they shall eat its flesh roasted with fire in the court of the house, which has been sanctified in the name of Yahuwah. And they may not celebrate the Pesach in their cities, nor in any place save before the tabernacle of Yahuwah, or before his house where his name has dwelt, and they shall not go astray from Yahuwah. And do you, Moshe, command the children of Yasharel to observe the ordinances of the Pesach, as it was commanded unto you. Declare you unto them every year and the day of its days, and the feast of Matzah, that they should eat matzah 7 days, and that they should observe its feast, and that they bring an oblation every day during those 7 days of joy before Yahuwah on the altar of your Elohim. For you celebrated this feast with haste when you went forth from Mitzrayim, till you entered into the wilderness of Shur, for on the shore of the sea you completed it. Chapter 50. And after this Torah I made known to you the days of the Shabbats in the desert of Sinai, which is between Elim and Sinai. And I told you of the Shabbats of the land on Mount Sinai. And I told you of the Jubilee years in the Shabbats of years. But the year thereof have I not told you till you enter the land which you are to possess. And the land also shall guard its Shabbats while they dwell upon it, and they shall know the Jubilee year. Wherefore I have ordained for you the year weeks, and the years, and the Jubilees. For there are 49 Jubilees from the days of Adam until this day, and 1 week and 2 years. And there are yet 40 years to come for learning the commandments of Yahuwah, until they pass over into the land of Canaan, crossing the Jordan to the west. And the Jubilees shall pass by, until Yasharel is cleansed from all guilt of fornications, and uncleanness, and pollution, and sin, and error, and dwells with confidence in all the land. And there shall be no more a Satan or any evil one, and the land shall be clean from that time forevermore. And behold, the commandment regarding the Shabbats, I have written them down for you, and all the judgments of its Torah. 6 days shall you labor, but on the 7th day is the Shabbat of Yovheliym. In it you shall do no manner of work, you and your sons, and your men servants, and your maidservants, and all your cattle, and the sojourner also who is with you. And the man that does any work on it shall die. Whosoever desecrates that day, whosoever lies with his woman, or whosoever says he will do something on it, that he will set out on a journey thereon in regard to any buying or selling, and whosoever draws water thereon which he had not prepared for himself on the 6th day, and whosoever takes up any burden to carry it out of his tent or out of his house shall die. You shall do no work whatsoever on the Shabbat, save what you have prepared for yourselves on the 6th day, so as to eat and drink and rest, and guard the Shabbat from all work on that day, and to bless Yovheliym, who has given you a day of feast, and a holy day, and the day of the holy kingdom for all Yasharel is this day among their days forever. For great is the honor which Yahuwah has given to Yasharel, that they should eat and drink and be satisfied on this feast day, and rest thereon from all labor, which belongs to the labor of the children of men, save burning frankincense and bringing oblations and sacrifices before Yahuwah for days and for Shabbats. This work alone shall be done on the Shabbat in the sanctuary of Yovheliym, that they may atone for Yasharel with sacrifice continually from day to day, for a memorial well-pleasing before Yahuwah, and that he may receive them always from day to day, according as you have been commanded. And every man who does any work thereon, or goes on a journey, or tills his farm, whether in his house or any other place, and whosoever lights a fire, or rides on any beast, or travels by ship on the sea, and whosoever strikes or kills anything, or slaughters a beast or a bird, or whosoever catches an animal or a bird or a fish, or whosoever fasts or makes war on the Shabbats. The man who does any of these things on the Shabbat shall die, so that the children of Yasharel shall observe the Shabbats according to the commandments regarding the Shabbats of the land, as it is written on the sapphires, which he gave into my hands, that I should write out for you the Torah of the seasons, and the seasons according to the division of their days. Herewith is completed the account of the division of the days. That is the end of chapter 50. That is the end of chapter 50. That's also the end of the book of Jubilees, Yovheliym. Psalms, Tehilliym, chapter 56. To the chief musician upon Yovheliym, Rehokim, Miktam of David, when the Philistine took him in Gath. Be merciful unto me, O Elohim, for man would swallow me up. He, fighting daily, oppresses me. My enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me. O El Elyon, what time I am afraid, I will trust in you. In Elohim I will praise his word. In Elohim I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me. Every day they wrest my words. All their thoughts are against me for evil. They gather themselves together. They hide themselves. They mark my steps, when they wait for my soul. Shall they escape by iniquity? In your anger cast down the people, O Elohim. You tell my wanderings. Put my tears into your bottle. Are they not in your Cepher? When I cry unto you, then shall my enemies turn back. This I know, for Elohim is for me. In Elohim will I praise his word. In Yahuwah will I praise his word. In Elohim have I put my trust. I will not be afraid what man can do unto me. Your vows are upon me, O Elohim. I will render praises unto you, for you have delivered my soul from death. Will not you deliver my feet from falling, that I may walk before Elohim in the light of the living? Hallelujah. All praise and glory to the Most High Yah. In the name of the Son, Yahusha, Yahawashi, HaMashiach. Thank you so much for following along. May this be a blessing to you, and may this glorify our Father, Yahuwah, the Almighty. We are upon Shabbat in several hours, so I pray that it is a restful feast day, and keep it holy, set it apart. Rest, stay in the Word, and rest in the work that was done on the cross. And honor the Father, honor the day. Thank you so much. Yah willing, I will see you soon. Shabbat Shalom.